Y'all been praying for DMX? Cause that's something crazy. Before we get off this live, let's talk about the DMX thing because that's how, like, that's all weird. Like, just the fact that, like, I'm just glad that he been fighting this long.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that God really gives him the chance to even come through again because addiction is real. Like coming from a person dealing with, like my mom, up until she died, battled addiction my whole life. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen her in her DMX stages where she was good and she was bad. She was up and she was down. That shit ain't no joke. So I really hope that DMX pulls through because it's just unfortunate.
Baby.
It's really unfortunate.
It's
I
this
saw the video you posted earlier.
man, can you could just tell the pain, even recalling that memory. Even when he told it, he got a way of storing. I'm gonna say DMX, he needs to narrate some books. That's what listen. You imagine listening, how many books would you read if it came? You would be like, you'd be the smartest motherfucker around. Because I know I would be tuning into any book. His, because he's so animated, he really know how to tell a story and convey a point. You know what I'm saying? He gets
Mhm.
that shit, for real. So that's some other shit that he might need to want to take up. Hey man, I'll narrate your book. Book sales be going through. Then you get little niggas to listen to some books. At least listen to them.
Yeah.
At least listen to them. I'm telling, it's big money. It's big money in bags. That man needs to do book voiceovers. He gotta come back, boy. Much, girl. I was in the gym working out, listening to him. I was feeling the type of way, dog. It's going on out in these streets. Then I listened to this video today. It's like, dog, and it was just so clear to me, like the writing is on the wall, like it's right there in your face. Dude did that shit right after. I think he said that was the first time he ever spit a rhyme, and that bitch was sweet off top. You get what I'm saying? Like coming out the gate, he was sweet. That man heard that shit, and he was around you. He was telling you before he got to that point. That dude was a rapper. Like he was trying to rap and shit, rap rhymes, and he did the beatbox. You see what I'm saying? So he painted a picture for you. This fool he was a rapper. So now he looking at X like, oh, this little nigga cold. He colder than me. Oh, I gotta fuck him up. And that he did. And that's some bullshit.
Yeah, but fucking him up at 14 didn't stop DMX's career.
It did.
He still was able to go on and be a successful rapper. So it's good that God gave him that,
It is.
mercy.
But if he never been, and my point is this, if he never had been introduced as well as he did on the shit, can you imagine if he wasn't? That man still, see, you looking at it as a positive thing, which you should, and that's good. But the point is, he still snuffed out some of his greatness. Because
I agree with you, but I'm saying we don't know if he necessarily, like, to me, it sounded like this was a man who was always lacing his weed with crack. I mean, I guess from my personal experience,
yeah, so you
knowing that people do that anyway, that was a norm back then. So, especially in the crack era, like DMX started doing crack. And when he said that happened to him, that was in the beginning of the crack era. So people laced their weed with crack. Now, not to say that DMX should have knew that weed was laced with crack, or that man should have told him that the weed was laced with crack. But I don't want to sit here and necessarily say that he said, oh, DMX going to be a better rapper than me, and he gave him crack. Like, he had already had the blunt. They were smoking that shit together. So what he could have went through is the same thing he could have went through. You never know.
it made it even more easy because the fool already had his shit that he was doing. So all he doing, no one said that he wasn't using it. He don't have to be free of using the shit prior to not be guilty of trying to fuck up this man's life. And that
I agree. I'm saying I'm not going to agree that he necessarily tried to fuck up his life like that was his intention. Giving him a lace blunt, yes, he should have told him that he was given a lace blunt. Like I have been given a blunt lace with nicotine. I mean, luckily for me, it was just nicotine. I got sick as fuck. But it wasn't that I knew it was laced with nicotine in the beginning, but because it was somebody that I knew, you know, I'm just going to smoke this blunt. But I knew ahead of time that this person smoked cigarettes. But as you sit around with people that you know, you're going to take this blunt because you didn't smoke weed before. I'm not saying DMX is wrong. I'm not saying this man is wrong. I'm just saying that people who lace their weed, period, should tell people anyway, because you don't know if that person is willing to take that risk. Listen. So should he have gave him crack? No. But should he have told him? Yes. But it's just fucked up. Like, I'm not about to say he did that intentionally to say, oh, DMX is a sweet rapper, so I'm about to give him crack to ruin his career. Because even if that was the case, it never ruined his career.
He still had to battle with that, where he could have spent his time being creative. The thing is this, man, that motherfucker, you don't pass a regular, to me, you don't give, I'm going to take it to this point. You don't give a 14-year-old a cigarette. So I wouldn't give a 14-year-old a cigarette, weed, alcohol, lace, whatever. It shouldn't even been around the kid.
But you got to realize, Raquel, at that time, 14-year-olds was selling crack. Like, look at the Biggie story. And I'm not excusing anything, but this is the world that they living in. Like, they in New York, they in it. 14-year-olds was selling crack in the crack era. No, it's not right. Do I want somebody to give my 14-year-old daughter drugs when my daughter becomes 14? No, I'm not excusing it, but this is the era you live in. You go out here, you with these people that you knowingly know that this is what they do. It's chances out here that you can take. Fortunate for me, I saw it from my mother. So I was willing to know what to do and what not to do. So when I was around friends, I have seen crack in rare form, but I knew the difference. Like, no, I'm not going to take it. Like, I've seen people do crack. I've seen people snort coke. I've seen people shoot it up. That's just what you choose to be around. That goes back to the T.I. thing when we said these people chose to do this. Mm-hmm. I've been around good friends of mine when they was high off heroin, trying to keep these motherfuckers up to make sure they not going to die because I don't know what to do. Again, when I was laced, when I smoked a blunt, I was laced off a nicotine weed blunt, and this is a real story. And it was by family. And I'm not really cool with my family, something you know. So if this is somebody I'm calling family, this is family, but this is my family. And then when I was sick as fuck, this motherfucker laughed like, I didn't know that would be something that affects you. Like, but you know I don't smoke cigarettes. Like, you know, like nicotine, I'm not just out here off that shit. So I was fucked up. Like, and luckily for me, it was just nicotine. It was something I could sleep off. It could have been something deeper. And, you know, God forbid, I could be like DMX today. But I was laced by somebody close to me, somebody I consider family, somebody who if I smoked with, this is somebody I'm cool to smoke with. And now, from that very moment, I've learned, like, hell no, like, mm-mm.
Well, I mean, it has to be somebody close to you, because who else you gonna let get that close to you to even do that? Like,
exactly. So it's like, in the era when I heard the DMX video, you know, it was just fucked up to me, is because it's like, you a younger person, this is an older person, this is somebody who's supposed to teach you the way. So in my head, this is somebody who's already addicted. You know, and people who's in that mind state, they don't think clearly. So I'm not even sure if this man was thinking what he was getting ready to put this boy into at the end of the day. So he just rolling his weed. This your boy, y'all beatboxing, y'all rapping or whatever. You like this blunt, you passing it, y'all smoking now. This is his unfortunate situation he just introduced him to. But this all happened in the crack era. This all happened when people started doing crack, when people was introduced to crack. You got kids out here selling crack. Even today, like these young mumble rappers out here Some of these people started their career on the backs of selling drugs. And these niggas is only 20 and 21. So they were selling drugs at 16, 14, and all of that. And it's unfortunate because it's like, this is where Black Lives Matter. This goes back to that. We got to be so wrapped up in our community that the kids who come up under us don't feel like this shit is right. This is not the right thing to do. Like, this is where Black lives really matter. It's not about what a corporation gonna do or what a corporation gonna invest into some kind of fucking corporation that don't got shit to do with inner city communities. Because how many times have anybody who's on this live or who gonna watch this later, and even you, Raquel, have seen that Black Lives Matter donated to an inner city? So if Black Lives Matter, we gotta be the first people. We gotta be the Black lives that make Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. Y'all see these kids out here? These kids is out here at young ages selling drugs because they don't have no motherfucking mentors in their communities. Black men got to start going into the communities and wanting to mentor these people, because at the end of the day, this DMX could be anybody's kid.
Yeah.
That could be anybody's kid coming forward. And it's unfortunate because we don't know what the situation is. It would be nice to believe that this man was a hater, because that's the easiest thing to believe. But this man at an adult age could have been so fucked up in his life, he don't even know what he doing to this man.
But I didn't take that in consideration, because usually you ever had somebody do some fucked up shit to you, but you know, like, deep down they really did mean no harm.
Yeah.
They like, yeah, this happened. I know it was fucked up. He shouldn't have gave it to me at that younger age, but I know he didn't mean well. He didn't say. He told the story like he told the story. And
he was 14. He was beatboxing. The nigga gave him a blunt laced with crack. It was like, a song.
Why would you do that to a kid? So for him to make...
Right. That's everybody's opinion, though. Why would you do that to a kid? But you said it, like, it's not about drugs. We all are addicted to something.
Yeah.
And you not thinking about that shit. And the most unfortunate part is, let's go back to all of this. Now DMX is addicted. He was on Iyanla. Remember when Iyanla asked him if he was going to pick drugs on his kids, and he picked drugs? When you in that mental state, you're not thinking right. So clearly this man had already been using drugs. Mm-hmm. So deep down inside, he don't know what he's about to do to fuck up the next person. I'm sure if drug addicts could save the next drug addict, they would. Because if you really deep down inside know somebody who do drugs, and you have talked to somebody who has been in the place of an addict, you know their heart, and they always mean well, but being an addict always seems to come first. Mm-hmm. So it goes back to just being guilty until proven innocent. I heard the video from DMX, but again, we don't know what state the person was in when he had that blunt. It's a difference between, I'm giving you a lace blunt and I'm just giving you crack cocaine upright. Hey, my nigga, here, smoke this crack, do this rock, blah, blah, blah. But he wrote this weed. Like, that was not weird in that day. People had laced blunts. And this might have been a blunt he rolled. He was going to smoke. DMX happened to be there. He gave him this blunt, and this was just an unfortunate time for DMX.
I wouldn't even be as tripping if dude would have announced what he was passing him.
Exactly.
But he didn't.
Right.
So there we go. It's some bullshit.
He should have said that shit. You got to say that shit. Like my man Dan. Shit, he was young. When his ass got laced with that crack blunt, he ain't been the same since. The difference between Dan and DMX is DMX was able to go out and have a career and still do the drugs on the side. Dan was damn near like a child. If Dan is still living today, and I hope he is, he's still in his head like a child, like younger than your children today. And he's been fucked up and just super quiet into himself. Like, And it's just so weird. And that was a one-time thing for him. It wasn't a constant over and over use again of drugs and going through overdoses and everything like this. He was laced one time and has never came back from that shit.
This is the crazy part. This is what I wonder though. Okay, so they said he on life support. Then they showed a picture. They got a picture of him like laying in the hospital bed. You know, he back thin again. You know, he was thick on Versus.
On the Versus, yeah, but he back doing drugs.
And right. So he like peace, and it's like, is that an old picture? Because if he on life support, how he sitting up in the bed like,
Probably an old picture.
Yeah, him being in the hospital. Chase, don't you see I'm on live? You know, y'all be doing too much.
I really hope and I pray that DMX pull through.
Me too.
It's like it's only so much the body gonna be able to take. And I feel like DMX body is really telling him that he's breaking down. But just in a personal matter, it like makes me go back to my own personal, my mama, you know, and her 4-year anniversary of being dead was yesterday, you know. So it's like, and DMX was her favorite. Like I remember being a kid pulled to concerts in the front row. Like, why am I at a DMX concert at like 12? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just weird. But my mother battled addiction horribly. And it's like I knew the good heart in her. And it was so many people that always be like, why do you deal with your mama and you know she gonna be like she is? Because I knew it was the addiction versus, you know, it just, you know, my mama versus the two. But she put so much on her body and was already sick and already going through so much. And she tried so hard. But I feel like her body just gave out. Like, and I'm not trying to say that the DMX situation is the same, but before my mama died, it was the same situation. She was on life support for a minute. She ended up getting off and breathed over the machine, but that only lasted for like a week. And then that was it. And I mean, fortunately, you know, a year ago, that was her situation and she lasted like a year and a half after. So I'm hoping that, you know, DMX get his, you know, granted life again. But I'm praying for the sake that he's not like my mother in a situation where he can really get off drugs and really turn his life around, because my mama was a normal, regular person. DMX is a public figure. So it's like so many more people invested in just his mental health, his physical health. And it's like, I want him to see that, like, it's people really rooting for you. Like, it's people out here who understands that it's an addiction and this is what's going on. And it's okay to say you need help. Like, anybody, it's really okay to say you need help. Like, that's really the first step. But you're not going through this alone. Like, you're not the only person. And that's the reason why so many addicts are afraid to get help, because they really feel like they can't go to their family or other people because they feel like it's just them in that one situation. And it's just weird.
That's all, because addicts need to start pointing their family members out, call them out. Like, I know you ain't looking at me. Your ass eat all motherfucking day. I seen your face buried in the potato chips an hour ago, fatty.
Right.
I'll just start calling people.
What? Because if my mama would call me out, she like, I know you addicted to these bum ass niggas. Like, what? You gotta call them out on they fucking shit. I'm just saying, like, it's just real talk. Like, I'm happy and I'm fortunate to be married now, but when my mama was alive, it was some touch and go situations. And if my mama we would have been going through AAA together. You never know. I might have been married sooner than later.
For real, like, and be like, bitch, you stay on that bottle. You wake up on that bottle. You go to sleep with the bottle. Motherfucker, I think you took a shower with the bottle. So
exactly.
About me, you know what I'm saying? And I think I mean, sometimes you just kind of come in the room shooting. You know what I'm saying? That's what most people do to get you off of them. It's deflection. So, you know, you just come in the room, just start aiming at people, and then let everybody know, you know, I'm gonna start. I need help.
Right.
Like, After you get done telling everybody what they addicted to and be like, I'm a stone cold crackhead and I need help. What they gonna
Girl,
they slip is up too. They slip